Welcome to Fight News Now Extra. I'm John Pollock, and we have all of today's stories to get to in mixed martial arts with John Ramdine and Robin Black coming by to chat about them all. Today we'll be looking at John Lineker as his continual weight issues continue. Ian McCall is hunting for a flyweight rematch, and a UFC middleweight will call it a career after his next fight. UFC middleweight Mark Munoz has been added to the promotion's debut card in the Philippines on May the 16th, where he will meet Luke Barnott. Munoz appeared at a press conference for the event and stated he will be retiring after the fight, regardless of whether he wins the fight or not. Munoz is 37 years old, and he was a standout Division I wrestler from Oklahoma State University who began in his MMA career in 2007, entering the UFC in 2009. Munoz has lost his last 3 fights as he prepares for Barnott. Fresh off a loss to John Lineker, Ian McCall is eyeing his next fight and tells Rick Lee and MMAJunkie.com that he would like to fight Joseph Benavidez next. McCall felt that he froze up mentally against Lineker despite being on point from a physical standpoint and wants to rebound with the rematch with Benavidez. McCall and Benavidez fought at UFC 156 in February 2013, with Benavidez earning the unanimous decision. Benavidez is currently scheduled to fight John Moraga in May at UFC 187. And finally, John Lineker will no longer be fighting at 125 pounds after missing weight for the 4th time in the UFC prior to his fight with Ian McCall in January. Lineker was told by the UFC that he would have to move up to the bantamweight division, but Lineker tells MMAfighting.com that even making 135 is going to present a big challenge in cutting 30 pounds from his walk-around weight to make 135. Lineker doesn't have a fight scheduled as of yet. And we hope you join us this Saturday night for our UFC 185 preview show. It kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with Robin Black, John Ramdine, and myself getting you set for the card from Dallas, Texas. And we're here with Robin Black and John Ramdine to chat all about today's news. We'll start off with Mark Munoz, who has been added to the May 16th card in the Philippines, a place that he's never fought before, and stating this is going to be it for him when he fights Luke Barnott. Interesting that we look at coming out of UFC 184, there's a lot of attention on Josh Koscheck, Mark Munoz, 2 performances that really questioned where these guys were going afterwards. And we have Munoz, who is going to give himself an entire camp, and that's it. He knows his end date. Koscheck is going for the immediate turnaround. It's one more fight left on his deal. You almost wonder if Koscheck is just looking, I want to fulfill this contract, mentally knowing he's out as well. It's interesting as we look at these two and how they are going through post-184 and into their next outings.
Yeah, what's interesting is to see if it actually sticks, because over the decade that we've been here at Fight Network, we know one thing: fighters love to fight. They love to compete. And Robin and I have talked about Josh Koscheck looking at that last fight with Jake Ellenberg going, oh, that just wasn't me. I need to get that fight back. And I wouldn't be surprised if, say, he goes into this fight again. It's a fast turnover. There's no guarantees of winning against Eric Silva. Is that going to come in a year from now, 2 years? I need to get in there and compete. Same with Mark Munoz. If he's out of the UFC, we mentioned ONE FC. They're doing big things in Southeast Asia. I wouldn't be surprised.
I guess now it's just ONE C.
Yeah, one championship.
One championship.
ONE C.
Oh,
OC. Yeah, when fighters, are getting close to the end of their career, or eyeballing the end of their career, or at the end of their career, it is always fascinating to watch. We're starting to see now how short the life cycle can be. It was a long time ago, but it doesn't feel like that long ago. That blonde guy who was a really good wrestler was on The Ultimate Fighter, and now we're having conversations, and so is he, about the end of his career. The scary thing is, what you hope for this man is he can go out there and be himself, or the old him, or what he's been able to be in the past. But you're absolutely right. He looked at that fight and said, that wasn't me. Come on, guys, give me another shot. I can do it. If he goes out and he finds out, this is the new normal, this is me now, then maybe that's the last fight. And that's the scary thing for an athlete. Some of them will go out and they'll say, this is me now. Or is it? No, one more. I mean, BJ Penn came back and fought Frankie, and the new him was not the old him. So it's a harder time to watch when you're a big fan of the guys and you love martial artists and stuff. But for Mark Munoz, if it sticks, going down an arena full of people who love him, going to fight a guy who wrestling is his weak point, that's Mark's strong point, this could be the right night for him.
For John Lineker, this one just puzzling to me. The guy has missed weight 4 times. He's being told you have to now fight at 135 pounds. And here's responses, well, geez, 135 ain't going to be easy to make either. I'm like, are you kidding me with this guy at this point? Like, I mean, this is an essential part of the sport. I'm not saying weight cutting is just a walk in the park no matter what weight class you're fighting at, except for heavyweight. But for Lineker at this point where he's already talking about how difficult it is to make 135, I'd really be just keeping myself really quiet at this point and maybe assessing what I'm doing. I don't have a fight scheduled right now. Maybe we can look at some of my lifestyle choices, or maybe getting my walk-around weight down a little bit because it's proven to be a problem.
Yeah, very true. But then you look at another example of that. Anthony Rumble Johnson, when he first was competing in the UFC, was competing at 170 pounds, kind of made a name for himself, had some weight issues, left the UFC, now coming back, fighting at the weight that he's supposed to be fighting at, and he's fighting for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. And many people
So maybe
believe
Lineker should be fighting at 155.
Who
knows?
Lineker at welterweight competing for that title. But yeah, he said he's around 165 pounds. I fought at bantamweight. And from 160, 12 weeks out is really, really hard. That's 25 pounds with proper diet, understanding stuff, being obsessed about doing it right. 160 is really hard. That's 25 pounds in 10 or 12 weeks. Some guys will do it quicker, but 165 pounds. I mean, you were a flyweight like a week ago, you know? I don't know, man. Like it's a psychological
He doesn't have, it's not like he's looking at, man, I got to lose 30 pounds in 10 weeks. I mean, you have infinite time. You have no fight scheduled right now. Maybe address why you're cutting so much weight at this time. Maybe I shouldn't be walking around at 165.
Does it matter that, I mean, he's still young. He's like 22, 23. Yeah. And as you get age, you keep on mass, and it obviously becomes more difficult to lose that weight. Is it something that maybe in the future that he will have to compete at a higher weight class?
He's too, height-wise, you can't, you know. I mean, we're going to see, where's all the 5'8" heavyweights? Like, you can't make it work, you know. Physically, you aren't designed to be able to do that. So, yeah, I mean, at 22, I drank beer all day and ate burgers all day and stuff, but I wasn't a professional athlete. I was a hairdresser. You know what I mean? It's like, he's just not, doesn't have it together mentally.
Cutting hair before he cut weight. Quickly on UFC 185 this weekend. I mean, what is really standing out to you? To me, Johnny Hendricks and Matt Brown is a really fascinating fight. Johnny Hendricks, somebody that has had his own weight issues in the past, and you can see just based on going into this fight, has made a lot of those changes. I think that's a great fight at 170.
Yeah, I agree, but the main event, people are talking about Rafael dos Anjos. Can he be the guy? So that's the fight I got to watch.
Yeah, I just can't wait to watch Carlos Esparza. Just kidding. That one's like 4th on my list.
All right, lots of UFC 185 chat coming up this week. We have more Fight News Now Extra. Stay tuned.